Hello, Friday. Hello, Friday. Welcome to y'all, and thank you so much for joining and continuing to join our sessions. Um, Neuro-Fitness Fridays, what they're all about. They're about one, just an opportunity to de-stress and from a tough week and reboot our brain for the weekend. Importantly, they're an opportunity to learn some brain smart skills and do some brain lifting in order to help develop that winning mindset that's so important for our happiness and so important for our success. We start each Friday with our little warm-up, 3-stage warm-up. Stage 1, breathe. Do your breathing, 4x4 breathing or whatever works for you. Take a few moments and do some deep mindful breathing. Your brain will thank you for the oxygen, because I'm sure in the last hour or so, it probably hasn't had as much as it needs. Second thing, what we'd like you to do is to pick up that piece of paper and write down one thing you're grateful for right now. One thing you're grateful for right now. And we'd like you to do that. Focus. We need to focus. Whatever was in our heads, running through our prefrontal cortex, what we were thinking about prior to this, or what we have to think about, what we have to do after this. Take it, package it up, put it aside. Let's focus on the next 30 minutes. Do our brain some good. All right, that's our warm up. Can you believe it's the last Friday of January? I can't, it's like unbelievable. It's like, where did the month go? It just seemed like we were celebrating the holidays in the 2021, turn the calendar, and now it's already going to be February before you know it, in the blink of an eye. It's the last Friday of the month. In the first 3 Neuro-Fitness Fridays this year, we talked about how to set brain smart, powerful goals. And then we talked about the brain smart pursuit of happiness. And then we talked about last week defeating the drama in our heads and how we can use our brains to really defeat that drama monster. If you happen to miss any of those sessions, the recordings are all available on the Neuro-Fitness Center YouTube channel and also on the Neuro-Fitness Center website. You can check them out, and you can look at the recordings and share them with others who you think might be interested in them. So those recordings are all available. Today we're going to talk about, and I'm going to share the screen. Today we're going to talk about the incredible power of purpose. Now, there's a lot of talk about purpose and meaning all over the internet, and talk about, well, the millennial generation believes in purpose more than the baby boomer generation, and then other studies refute that. Companies have to say they have a higher purpose than just making profit. But what we're really talking about today is your personal purpose, and we'll define what that means and how you're going to get there. But your personal purpose. Why is it so important to you? Why is personal purpose and meaning so important? Well, remember, the default mechanism for our brain is bad is stronger than good. Bad is stronger than good. So we have to do everything in our power to put positivity and positive brain maps into our brains. Personal purpose will help improve our potential. It will increase our motivation. It will increase our contentment. It will increase our satisfaction with life. It will increase our happiness. All very powerful, positive steps from identifying and truly latching onto what is our personal purpose. Let's talk a little bit about personal purpose, because that personal purpose, as we said, we've talked a lot about on these Neuro-Fitness Fridays, developing a positive belief system. Well, that personal purpose just gets programmed right into our positive belief system. So let's talk about what is personal purpose. Personal purpose It's really asking yourself the question of saying, am I just following along with my life or am I leading my life? Some days I just find that I'm just going along with life. But what personal purpose is about is leading your life, not following along, not being just a participant in your life, but leading your life. Personal purpose can help you do that. Personal purpose can help you do that. And it can do that in two important ways: identifying how you think about who you are and what you do, identifying how you think about who you are as a person and what you do. Now, the what you do is very important because we spend a lot of time of our waking hours at what we often refer to as our jobs, right? So we need to make that as motivating as possible. We need to make that as motivating as possible. And I'm going to share a lot of examples on how you can put some personal purpose into your job as well as your life, making personal purpose important. Now, there may be a lot of overlap between the two: your personal purpose statement for your who you are, or your personal purpose statement for what you do. And that's okay, because it's you the person. It has to resonate with you. But you may want to think about, I have a little different one for who I am, and I have a little different one for what I do, and that's okay. But it's how you think about who you are and what you do. Now, before we get started in the how do we find our personal purpose, I want to share with you three powerful stories of purpose. Three powerful stories of purpose. The first one took place in the conflict in the Middle East that is referred to as Desert Storm many years ago. We still have troops in that region, but when we first put a lot of troops in there due to the heightened tension, it was that conflict was referred to as Desert Storm. There was a general. The general was in charge of 400 men and women in his command, and their responsibility were sent over to the desert in sweltering heat. But their responsibility wasn't to fight, but was to provide food service to the 10,000 troops that were there, based there to fight in the conflict. They had to cook, they had to clean. That was their responsibility there. The general said, a lot of times in the military, everybody does things through orders. How do I inspire these people? How do I get them motivated? How do I get them to show up every day for something truly, truly as ordinary as cooking and cleaning, and doing it in sweltering heat for 10,000 other troops? Well, he defined the mission and the purpose of what his unit was about. He called them together and he said, our purpose is not about food service. Our purpose is about morale. We are in charge of morale, because if we don't provide 3 hot meals a day under super clean conditions, the troops aren't going to be prepared at their best to fight the good fight. And so he reframed the notion about what these people were doing there from just cooking and cleaning in a 110-degree desert into be in charge of the morale of 10,000 troops. I find that a truly inspiring story of purpose. Let's go on to story number 2. Let's talk about hotel maids. Hotel maids has to be one of the most repetitious jobs that you could have. Open up a room, get in there, strip the bed, change the sheets, vacuum the floor, clean the bathroom. Go into the next room, do the exact same thing, repeating over and over and over as many rooms as you can while your shift is going on. They actually did a study, and they did a study and they said, how can we really understand how the mind works and how we can reframe what these maids do? So they took the control set of maids and said, you guys just keep doing what you're doing. They took a group of maids and they said to these maids, they said, what we want you to do is we want you to think about what you do every day. We don't want you to think about what you do every day as being a maid or cook or cleaning or making beds. We want you to think about what you do every day as exercise. Yeah, exercise. Because you're stretching and you're lifting and you're reaching and you're carrying and everything you do is exercise. That's all. Just think about what you do as exercise. And after less than a month, the group of maids who thought about what they did as exercise on average lost 7 pounds versus the other group. Amazing power of mindset. Just by thinking what they were doing was exercise, they lost 7 pounds. Now, maybe they felt a little better, they reached a little further, they stretched a little more, they started eating better. Who knows? All of those things could have contributed to their weight loss, but they started feeling in a more positive, motivating state, which created a physical benefit for them. That's a very powerful sense of mindset of purpose. I'm not just a maid. I'm exercising 8 hours a day. Now, story number 3. I was in Los Angeles International Airport a number of years ago, and I was walking through the American Airlines terminal, and I saw this large sign that said, free shoe shines. Yep, free shoe shines. I looked down and go, wow, that's pretty cool. I've got some time before my next flight. I'm going to go get myself a free shoe shine. So I walked up to the shoe shine stand, and I noticed that there was one other customer there, and there was had a bulletin board there behind the shoe shine gentleman. And he said, step right up, sir. I'll be right with you as soon as I'm finished with this other gentleman. And as I sat there, I started looking around. I started looking around on this board that he had put up, and he had pictures of celebrities that he had shined their shoes with notes to him. And the celebrities included, ex-politicians and ex-presidents and movie stars and all kinds of wonderful people that he had taken their pictures with, that he had shined their shoes. Then I looked down on his shirt, and over one lapel of his shirt had his name. His name was Bob the shoe shiner. But on the other lapel of his shirt, the inscription was embroidered, the world's greatest shoe shiner. Wow, that's pretty cool. So Bob he finished with the other gentleman, he started it on me, and he started this very engaging conversation with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion for what he was doing, explaining how he shines his shoes and explaining why he's the world's best shoe shiner and explaining the products he uses and going on. And it was just like an incredible 5 minutes of understanding that this gentleman was really passionate about shining shoes. And I said to him, I said at the end, I felt guilty. I looked down, I said, this is the best shoe shine I've ever had. So I gave him $10 for a free shoe shine. But I said to him, I said, Bob, I said, isn't it hard to get up every day and have all this enthusiasm and passion and excitement for what you do? And he said, well, sir, he said, let me tell you, First of all, I'm the world's greatest shoe shiner, and I've got a reputation to uphold. Secondly, who knows? Tom Hanks may come by and want his shoe shined, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to shine Tom Hanks' shoes. Is that great? You think about that gentleman and how he defined his purpose, his role as the world's greatest shoe shiner, gave him motivation, gave him inspiration. You could have said, Bob, what do you do? He could have said, I shine shoes at the airport. But he said, I am the world's greatest shoe shiner. A very, very powerful statement of personal purpose that we can all of us learn from. So now we're going to go on to what you can do to start defining your own personal purpose. Defining what I call your PPP, your personal purpose pathway. Defining your own personal purpose. First question you ask yourself, what am I good at? What am I good at? For Bob, he was good at shining shoes. He was the best. What are you good at? Okay. The second thing, and you may want to find, you're going to just in a reflective moment, make a list, write it down. I'm good at these things. I'm good at baking cookies. I'm good at helping people. I'm good at numbers. I'm good at singing. Whatever you're good at, just put it down on a list. Make an inventory. Sometimes you'll look at your list and go, wow, I thought I was better at more than this. My list isn't very long. What you should do then is ask someone, ask a colleague, ask a loved one, ask a friend. Just say, hey, look, can you do me a favor? Tell me, what if you'd ask one or two things, what would you say that I'm good at? Just tell me off the top of your head, what do you think I'm good at? You may be surprised by their answers. And a third thing you can do is you can go to this website. It's called viacharacter.org. Viacharacter.org has a little strength assessment test there. It'll take 10 or 15 minutes of your time, but it will tell you your strengths relative to other people who have taken that test. It was very enlightening when I took the test. I recommend it to all my clients as a way that you can find truly like how you find some nuggets or gems of unearthed strengths that you can polish and really work in the future, in your future behavior, in your future mindset. Okay. Viacharacter.org. So now that we have a pretty good handle on answering the first question, what are we good at? We're going to look to the second question. What value do we create? What value do we create in our personal lives, in our professional lives? What value do we bring others? How do we help others? How do we provide a value at work that no one else can do? What value do we create? It's a very important question. Will help you define your personal purpose path. The third key question would be, what makes you special or different? What makes you special? This one will be hard for a lot of people, right? Especially people who have had their self-esteem bombarded. But work at it. Look at your list and say, you know what, that makes me special. Or I have this and I feel special when I do these things. Okay, what makes you special or different? Really understand those things and lean into those things. A personal purpose path will help you develop, as I said, positive brain maps and reduce self-doubt, lower your tendency to let that lower self-esteem flare up. Okay, so you will increase your self-esteem and increase those positive brain paths. What am I good at? Okay, and what value do I bring? And what makes me special or different? And the last question I'd like you to ask yourself is, think about the sentence, the best version of me is, or the best version of me does. Now, we all have our good days and our not so good days. It's normal. Right? But when you think about the best version of you, either in the past or in the future, what does the best version of you do? What does the best version of you feel like? Just try to complete that thought. The best version of me is caring. The best version of me is smart. The best version of me is super good listener, right? What is the best version of you? Think about that and try to complete that sentence. This will help bring all of those things together. And maybe you just want to boil that down into one or two words. The best version of me is this, and hang on to those words. I went on the internet a while back and I looked at some personal purpose statements, and I want to share a few that I found to be really inspiring. I'm not going to say what jobs these people had or what they did, but maybe you can guess. The first one was to simplify the complicated. My personal purpose is to simplify the complicated. Or how about to inspire success through teaching? Or my personal purpose is to create the best version of tomorrow. Or how about to improve lives through healthcare? And this is the one I particularly found interesting, to help as many people as possible, as much as possible, for as long as possible. Okay? There's a person who was really leaning into helping others for as many people as they could, for as much as they could, for as long as they could. Now, what we're going to do now is a little group exercise. We're going to do a group exercise. I'm going to throw out some professions. And we're going to try, just dump the things in the chat box. I'm going to try to define, if imagine this profession, and then imagine what a personal purpose statement of higher order might be for this profession. And I'll start us off. Now, you could say, I'm a data analyst, or I'm a discoverer of insightful nuggets that help our company drive better sales. Makes coming to work each day just a little bit easier. Okay, get the drift? Just like Bob didn't shine shoes at the airport, he was the world's greatest shoe shiner. And just like the maids weren't just maids, they were exercising 8 hours a day. Or just like the 400 soldiers at Desert Storm weren't just in food service, but they were in charge of morale. Let's think about some of these things. I could be an office manager, or I could be what? What suggestions do you have? Put them in. Think about these things, because if you think about them in another context, when you get to your own, it might help you a little bit. I could be an office manager, or I could be what? I could be an office manager, a man of the people. That's great. Okay. A stress reliever to assist my boss. Awesome. How about journalist? Anybody have anything for journalist? I could be a journalist, or I could be a journalist, or I could be a window to the outside world, help the world understand truth. Both very good. Okay, how about truck driver? I could be a truck driver, or I could be what? I could be a truck driver, or I could be what? A lifeline of supplies. Great answer. I could be a truck driver or a lifeline of supplies. That's terrific. Anybody else? Truck driver or the world's deliverer. There you go. Awesome. Excellent. Deliverer of the world goods. Facilitate movement of critical vaccines. Another great answer. Not just the truck driver, but you're providing the lifeline of vaccines to people. That's a great answer. I could be a receptionist, or I could be the face of my company. Awesome. The face of my company. I like that one. You're the face of the company. You're the first person they see when they come in the door. That's terrific. The best damn greeting and smiling face the client hears first. That's another awesome one. Okay, you guys are getting the drift. Here's the last one. I often had people, they talk about, I hate the term, and I ask people, it's like, what do you do for a living? And they answer like, well, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. It's like, or a stay-at-home dad. It's like, just a mom? I mean, it's like, you got the most powerful profession in the world, right? So I could be a mom, or I could be what would you do for the higher purpose of being a mom? A nurturer. Great answer. What else? A protector. Yeah. Higher order than just quote unquote mom or dad. Anyone else have any thoughts? Okay. Well, you guys obviously get the drift. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. You, a stay-at-home mom, aka doctor, nutritionist, activity manager, creativity director, boo-boo fixer, maid, who exercises a lot. Awesome. Great answer. Great answer. Wrap it all up. The world's greatest magician, maybe, of all those things wrapped into one person. Okay, that wraps up our session today. Hopefully you really understood now about the personal power of purpose, that the examples I shared with you, whether it was from, battling combat in the desert to shining shoes at Los Angeles airport, gave you a sense of some examples of how they can make a difference in your mind and how they can make a difference in your positivity, your productivity, and your happiness. So with that, I'll close the session today. If you have any last comments, please put them in the chat box. Okay. With that, I will say thank you for all of you for coming and sharing this time with me. I finish with hello Friday, hello purpose. We've got you and we're ready for what's next. Thank you all and have an awesome weekend.